Good morning and welcome to the ADM Fertiliser Market Report. Today we are joined by Rob Buck from Brineflow Ltd, producers of the Nitrosol range and ADM's liquid fertiliser supplier. Good morning for a start, Rob.
Good morning, James. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for your time. So I think, first of all, we should maybe start with just discussing who is Brineflow and what are your products?
Yeah, sure. Brineflow, we're a long-standing privately owned business with generations of experience. The business itself is more than 30 years old, but in recent years, in 2007, we actually rebranded as Nitrosol. And what do we offer? We offer a complete range of nitrogen and sulfur liquid fertilizers, including any prescription formulations if required as well. So if the agronomist or the farmer requires something quite, a little bit more specific, we can make that for them. That's no problem at all. We also offer a full range of foliar micronutrients such as manganese and magnesium. However, we don't just sell a product. We like to think that when a farmer converts to Nitrosol liquid fertilizer, he buys into a system which, along with strategic partners, help better serve his requirements.
Brilliant. In terms of what we've seen on the liquid fertilizer sort of usage side of things, as a market share in the UK, it seems to be increasing quite significantly in recent years. Why do you think that is?
Farming is a serious business, and more focus on farming by the industry and the farmers is driving increased productivity through more efficient systems, less waste, time, manpower, machinery, storage. Storage is becoming more and more valuable on farm. So having tanks is a main reason why farmers are switching into a liquid system. But a high focus also on the increased environmental stewardship. So there's an increased demand for better agronomic products with a lower environmental impact, also a lower safety impact, which also means that a more precise application is needed, and also no single-use plastic waste, which is obviously a large concern at the moment. The point to make here is that Nitrosol liquid fertilizers delivers on all of those, and is becoming, it is a more efficient system. I think if we look at the market itself, we see it growing anywhere between 11 to 13% every year. Obviously, you get 1 or 2% coming back from a liquid system back to a solid system. This huge growth, and this potentially could be a 1 million ton market by 2030.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Obviously, mentioning about the storage aspect, having that dedicated fertilizer storage separate to your grains is becoming more and more important to farmers.
Yeah.
In terms of obviously when the Nitrosol liquid fertilizer turns up on farm and put into these tanks, can we get a little bit more background in terms of how they're actually made prior to delivery?
Yeah, sure. Nitrosol liquids are made with accuracy and consistency designed in. So we actually batch produce each grade to ensure that all ingredients are present in the correct quantities. So our systems allow us to measure volume, weight, temperature, specific gravity to accurately control the formulations, no matter what time of year it is. Everything that goes out is tested before, during, and after production, and we record all those numbers, and we retain that. In addition, all the products are triple filtered to ensure that each product that goes onto farm has the highest clarity it can do, right up to the nozzle.
You're obviously heavily investing in infrastructure. We can see Great Yarmouth behind you, and obviously in the sort of trade news, in the agricultural news reports recently, there has been mention of the new Sunderland plant. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening there and how that's going to impact the end user or the farmer from that?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we have the high specification liquid fertilizer plant in the UK, and we'll be opening our second plant this year in Sunderland. So our vision is really investing in the entire total atmospheric contained system, and this means that a dedicated shoreside storage facility that is scaled to receive volume out of season in preparation for farmer requirements. So linked to the vessels by our own contained pipelines, which means no waste, no double handling, no open lagoons. That's really important to make sure that we have an environmental plant and we produce environmental products. So it's a state-of-the-art batch production facility that produces accurate, high-quality finished goods every time. And that's the good thing about batch testing and batch production. It's a high-capacity batch blender, which ensures no waiting in peak season for product to arrive. On-farm tanks ensures that the end user has 25–30% of their requirement on farm ready to go. And the outcome is that the farmer has a quality nitrosol liquid fertiliser on tap when they need it, coupled with a guaranteed 24 to 48 hour replenishment in peak season.
Brilliant. I mean, we know obviously, particularly at springtime, how fertiliser demand and the just-in-time orders are so important to be able to deliver. And it sounds like with this infrastructure, that is more than possible. And another thing that's been talked about more in the agricultural news recently is the DEFRA urea inquiry. Obviously, there's more and more becoming aware of ammonia emissions and environmental impact of the use of fertilizers. Brineflow have already obviously developed a product called AdvanShield, which reduces ammonia emissions and leaching. But can you give us a little bit more background on that product and why farmers should be using liquid UAM when considering the environment?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I think it's important to say that agronomically, liquid fertiliser is the obvious choice. Precision application. I mean, being in the liquid form, it's not reliant on weather or rain to dissolve it. So it's available and can be taken up by the plant much quicker than if it was in a solid form, which obviously means that if it's in a liquid form, that it's less exposed to volatilization, denitrification or leaching. And then, thinking of ammonia, the first time that the nitrosol liquid fertilizer exposed to the atmosphere is actually when the farmer applies it to his field, where it is quickly absorbed. So, but to make that more environmental, we launched an inhibitor, as you say, called AdvanShield. The good thing about AdvanShield is that it's completely compatible with all of our nitrogen and nitrogen sulfur grades, which is obviously key, with 75% of all of our grades, including sulfur, that actually leave the plant. The other benefits to using AdvanShield is obviously you've got a nitrogen inhibitor there as a stabilizer as well, so you get a nice drip feed to the plant. But obviously we're protecting ourselves against any losses that the farmer may get without using an inhibitor. And for us, it was really important that we added value, the product added value to the farmer. We didn't want it to just be an inhibitor that could be used by a farmer and cost him more money just to be environmental. We felt that it is important that actually you get a yield benefit from it as well, so it does that as well. I think nitrosol liquid fertilizers is safe to handle, store, dedicated tanks that are bundled on farm, and it's a non-hazardous product as well.
It's really interesting to hear that AdvanShield is compatible with the nitrogen sulfur grades as well. Obviously, that technology hasn't quite been developed yet in the solid market, so maybe that's giving liquid users a bit of an edge and a reason to be moving towards liquid on the environmental aspect as well.
Yeah, I think just an additional point to that is that obviously with liquid fertilizer or with using an inhibitor, I mean, one thing that you want it to be is easy for the farmer to use. So ours is all added at production. The farmer doesn't have to add it via bypass at the farm. It arrives on farm in his product, available for him to use straight away.
Fantastic. Well, I think we've had a very good roundup there of Brineflow and the nitrosol brand itself. Thank you very much for your time and for your insights. We look forward to speaking to you again soon. And if there are any prospective farmers out there who are considering moving to liquid fertilizers, then please do reach out to your local ADM farm rep and they'll be able to speak to you about that. Thanks for your time, Rob.
Thanks a lot, James.